Welcome to the foundation. Yes, yes. Today we will be talking about private trust versus public trust. This is what I want to get into today. Sometimes I do forget that we have, people who are continuing to come into the awareness and the understanding that, trusts are important, let alone trust exists. Also that, there are different kinds of trust or types of trust. And further, understanding that different trusts, are jurisdictional, to say the least, the protections and powers that go along with that. So, being me, so L, I do want to, kind of, not necessarily how would I say it? Not necessarily, take it back, because, you can never really take it back. But I do want to, get specific and discuss and touch on, the differences and distinctions between private trust and public trust. So with that being said, the first thing I wanted to say was, and this is, I guess this is how I'm gonna start out. I do want to start off by saying, I do a lot of private consulting, and as well as specific type of educational curriculum, trustee training and stuff. And I've noticed that, a lot of people, or most, I wouldn't say most people, but, it's a good number of people that, when they go private, they start, they get to the position where they understand that, like, trust is important. There are, the elite and, people who are rich, or, people who I feel like have, a significant amount of money. They operate through trust. And we know it's kind of exciting. And you understand that there's, going private is a big deal. And, a lot of people, they start reading on public law with regards to trust. And they, they'll read something, and they'll call me or text me or, something like that. And they'll be like, "Y'all just read that if you got a trust, if you're doing a trust and you do this with the trust and they do this with the trust." Or I just read that, if you do a certain transaction with the trust and they say they say you got to do this with the trust. I say, who's they? Oh, the state. I'm reading the state statutes. The state has to. The state said that. And other different things or realizations or new things that, people who, are just learning. They're just now coming into this information, and they're starting to do research, and, they read something, But see, now I got to, now I got to describe, like, the difference between public rules, and public policy, and public laws, and public jurisdiction, and, public authority. That there's a difference between a public trust and a private trust. And, I understand a lot of people think, a private trust is created privately, but then it interfaces with the public. A lot of ways that's true. It does. It does have to interface with the public. But it doesn't come necessarily, depending on majorly the administration. of the entity. It doesn't come under the legislative control of, the state or the several states. Why? Because it's a contract entity. Properly expressed trust. It's expressed. It's not in your mind. You expressed it. And then how do I know you expressed it? You expressed it on paper. You wrote it down. So a proper expressed trust is in all actuality a contract and doesn't owe its existence to any state legislation. Or basically, it doesn't owe its existence. It wasn't created because the state allowed it to. Any state, the state of Texas or, Louisiana, Illinois, the state of New York. This entity, a properly expressed trust did not come into existence under any authority. It came into existence under a right. A right. What? What's the right? The right to contract unlimited. You ever been in the court, especially if it's a civil case, there's some sort of, civil dispute going on. First thing, the judge is going to say, okay, is there a contract? And if the parties, it could be brother and sister, it could, whatever, it depends on. But if you're in a civil court, some sort of commercial matter, there's going to be some, monetary, something of value involved. The first thing the judge is going to say is there a contract? If the parties say yes, he's going to say, I want to see the contract. And the bailiff's going to walk up and grab the contract. I mean, I'm talking like we're watching on TV, but I'm serious. You enter the contract into evidence for the record. If there is no contract, what does the judge do? The judge is going to fall to the statutes. And deal with it from that perspective. But if it's expressed in the contract, the judge has to uphold the contract, and that's been ruled and said many times by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has said that many times and upheld that many times. But like I said, it's how it's administered. If you don't know that, if you don't understand that, and a right that isn't claimed isn't protected. But yeah, a properly expressed trust does not owe its existence to legislation, therefore it doesn't fall under legislative control. The state doesn't, if you're reading something, certain policy, some sort of public law, when they're talking about trust, they're talking about trust that they created. They're talking about trust that exists through legislative control, like a living trust, some sort of grantor trust, some sort of a revocable trust. That was, more than likely put together by an attorney or some sort of firm. And then, that's just how it goes down. If you don't know how to do these things, if you're not from an informed family, or you haven't met and befriended anyone from an informed family who chose to inform you, you don't know to ask for the, hey man, I know y'all, you're a lawyer, y'all got a law firm and stuff, y'all gotta put me in a will, in a revocable trust, and a living will, and all this stuff. You're gonna take care of me. I know, thank you. You're gonna charge me an arm and a leg, but it's professional. But what about these, these contract trusts that I heard about, these express trusts, the private trust? First of all, they ain't gonna tell you about it, but you bring it up, they're gonna tell you we don't do those. They ain't gonna tell you don't exist. They might say, oh, you might get in trouble with those. People get in trouble with those. Okay, yeah, people get in trouble with a lot of things. But because they got that state bar card, their first duty is to the public. And think about it. You know, a lot of people get in trouble when they war against the public. I'm talking about some just being right. I mean, being real, It's just that type of situation. When you got to properly express trust, it doesn't come under state legislation. Now, if you contract with an express trust and, you know, some sort of state entity or a state citizen or, you know, a U.S. citizen within a certain state, that contract that the trust entered into with that person, whether it's a company or an individual, that contract comes under the jurisdiction of the state, but the actual trust itself does not, when properly administered. A private trust owes its existence to contract. That's why a lot of people want these 9-8 numbers. And people run out with these 9-8, they start using them instead of the social. I'm going to put everything in the trust. I hear that a lot. I want to put everything in the trust. I don't try to be, you know, pejorative or mean to people because, you know, I love y'all. I love my brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? I like to help people. But honestly, if we ever really need to be teaching this stuff or defending this, we need to understand that the trust holds the title to everything. We say it properly. We understand exactly what we're talking about. I'm going to title everything in the trust. That car, that vehicle, whatever you want to call it, that carriage, that motor carriage, motor conveyance, private motor, whatever. It's titled in the trust. It's not, technically it's not in the trust. But I get it. But people want to, you know, get this 9A number and, you know, do all this stuff and send off bonds and all. Look, man, I ain't knocking it because I can't because, you know, it is what it is. But first, we need to understand what we're doing and understand the implications. 9A number is not to be used instead of the social. I know people have used it instead of the social. But I know what it is. It's trust. And when they send you the paperwork, you know, if you give them the right address and they send you the paperwork for that 9A number, after whatever name you gave them, I don't care what name you gave them, after that name, it's got a TR. It's got a space, TR. That indicates trust. You know, my name is a trust. Okay, your name is a trust. I feel you. But where's the governing instrument? Because this is commerce. And if there's no governing instrument, guess what? It defaults to the statutes. That's why. That's what I'm knocking. That's why if I'm knocking anything, I'm knocking that. People not understanding that. My brothers and sisters not understanding that. If you ain't got delegating some sort of governing instrument, delegating authority and so on and so forth, you know what I mean? Then that 9A number is, it might as well be just another number, you know what I'm saying? Because whatever we're doing with it, if we get a bank account open or not, or, you know, whatever we're doing with it, without a proper governing instrument, it's a disregarded entity, and they're going to tax it to the debtor or the grantor, and the grantor is who? The debtor, the straw, the individual, and that's public trust. Man, look, the Internal Revenue Service will do their best to classify your trust as an association tax as a corporation. That's what they do, especially when they see like this type of entity. They see a 9A number, stuff like that. They already know. Best thing that's what they want to do. If you can't stand on these specific protections, it falls and defaults to the statutes, the code. Come on. Now they're coming at us. They're coming at us. And yeah, I know. We know what's right. We know what it is. There is no money. At the same time, we understand public and private don't mix. We don't participate in public controversy. And we stay in honor at all costs. We all know, right? We know, right? But it's business, and it's not being handled. And they're coming at you. All because we're not understanding the difference between public and private when it comes to these entities, when it comes to a trust. And on top of that, we're not understanding that when it comes to these trusts, public or private, if you walk in there, you don't know what you're talking about. This accountant, I don't care if it's a road agent or not. You walk in there and you don't know what you're talking about. They ain't filing it, man. Come on, man. Look, they're gonna default to some statutes. You ain't got the proper documents. You ain't got the proper minutes. The authorities, the governing instruments, all weird. You ain't got it. You ain't got our governing instrument. They ain't gonna file that stuff the way. And it don't work. It don't work, man. Come on now. There's no 15-step system to go private and be able to stand on it. You think you're gonna be sitting in a meeting with these people and they're gonna let you bring in a notebook? They ask you a question. Oh, hold on, and you just start flipping pages, just thinking, man, come on. And if you don't know, it defaults to the statutes. That's what happens, and I feel like that's one of the biggest things that people who are trying to go private and trying to do what's right. But we understand what it is. I ain't trying to hurt nobody. Hopefully you ain't trying to hurt nobody. If you are out, you trying to scam. Look, can't help you. That's energy, man. Nope. But look, for those who ain't trying, just want to, control their affairs and handle their own stuff, I'm trying to tell you. You can have the coldest governing instrument or no governing instrument at all. If you don't know what's going on, it doesn't matter. It's a public trust. You can have a 9(8) number. It don't matter. They are going to associate. They're going to look at it as an association, taxable as a corporation or something like that. I'm telling you. But here's the governing instrument, and they're going to be like, okay, yeah. Oh, hold on. And you start flipping through your notebook, electronic. No. And then now your 9(8) number is a public trust. It's a public. It might as well be. That's how it's being treated. Substance over form. Value the substance of the administration, substance of the transaction, how you're using it. You're using it in place of the social. You're using that instead of the social security number. So you're doing things with that number that you were also doing with the individual. You just swapped out the number. Oh, it's the same thing. It's just an alter ego. Maybe you have bad credit or something. Where in the Internal Revenue Code does it say that this makes it a different entity? Oh, you don't have a governing instrument? Oh, well, yeah. That's just an alter ego. There's no protection with an alter ego. You don't get to deduct expenses from an alter ego. And if you do, it's only certain. What bracket are you in? Okay, so you can only deduct this. These are the only deductions that an individual can deduct on their individual tax return. But I got the trust with the 9. It doesn't matter. A public trust can be improperly. A public trust a lot of times will be and will become, or an improperly administered private trust will most likely come become or be treated as a public trust. If you don't understand what's going on when it comes time to defend in the fiduciary capacity, which is powerful, and in the executive or executory position, executing contract, which is law. I mean, come on, it's a very powerful position to be, but if you don't understand, you don't know, and you don't have that in your notes. Hold on, let me check this. You start turning pages, and then it's going to be the same as not. So I look at it, please look at it like that. It's very important. Is it hard? I wouldn't say, getting to the point where, you can properly administer, your private estate, like for real, and defend it. I wouldn't say it's hard. I would say that it requires dedication. I wouldn't say it's easy. I would say it's hard. Like, oh man, it's hard. I'm like, I can't believe. Oh my God, I gotta read all this. I mean, come on, man. Worst case scenario, you're reading for an hour or so, maybe more. Running for 6 blocks straight, just flat out, just running for 6. That's hard. That would be hard, in my opinion. I guess it's hard. The word hard, I guess, is relative to, the person who's using it and, who's interpreting it, I guess. But I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I don't think it's hard. I just know it takes dedication and it takes consistency. It's got to be something that you want to do. And if you don't know, we don't understand, and we get to a place of fear, and then, once we're in that place of fear, most people, it's really hard to get out of that spot. But a lot of times fear is due to lack of knowledge, which is, it's like this negative loop, feedback loop or whatever. And it's just, it's just destructive. It's not. Yeah, it's not. I think there was one more thing I wanted to say. We're getting close to the end of the show, but there's one more thing I wanted to really just kind of touch on. And, forgive me if I'm being real basic. But, I do want to say a lot of times when we get to studying and we're looking at there's trust. Okay, there's private trust and there's public and private. Okay. We start studying and looking things up, and we get our hands on a lot of public stuff. You know what I mean? And even though it says trust and it says this and it says that, a lot of times we don't understand the distinction. And like, okay, a private trust is an express trust that is, under the right of contract, not under the privilege of the legislature. Not allowed. We don't have to put out an application or submit articles or anything like that to any state authority or anything like that. It's due to the right to contract, which is very powerful, and that's the governing instrument, and that's the contract is important. Understanding the contract is equally important, as well as proper execution of the contract. That is the powerful position, because no state can impair the obligation of contract. And understanding how to enforce that, understanding proper jurisdiction is very important. I understand, the draw. There's a large draw to, these numbers that we refer to as non-ink numbers. I understand the draw. But, proper administration is everything. Proper understanding is required. I do want to say that it's a lifestyle. It's definitely a lifestyle. And it's definitely a lifestyle that you're going to have to not only work at, but it's a lifestyle that you're going to have to decide that, this is it for me. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to change my lifestyle. Because there's a lot of nuances when it comes to, trust administration, but it's a very, very powerful position to be in when you're in the office of the trustee. I do want to say, Passport No Social webinar with Chris L. The recording is going down on the 23rd. I think did the brother call in? What's the brother's, all right, Passport No Social, Chris L. I really respect this brother, I really do. I really respect brothers that is being active and they're applying, what they've learned in action. You know what I mean? I think that's remarkable. It's something that I look to do within myself, and it's something I like to see in my brothers and my sisters. Man, what's the brother's number? I don't know if the brother called in, man. Okay, so look, I'm just going to take some calls, man. Let me just jump on it. But email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. And if you're interested in the webinar, live webinar was settled on 300 and then 500 for afterwards to not, for the video, for a copy of the video. Admin@welcometothefoundation.com. I mean, let's do it. Let's go to the phone line. Let me do 346-4372. 346-4372. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, can you hear me? So well, this Chris L.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping it was you. Yeah. All right. Peace, man. How you doing?
Doing well, brother. Doing well. You know what I'm saying? I'm up in here in the Walmart family's business trying to find some ratchet straps. Checking into the show and listening to what you're sharing with the people, and the people not ready for what you're really saying, because a lot of them don't even understand the when you dropped what you dropped about the tax incentive, the tax incentive for being in trust. That shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's major, but the only way that you can move properly in trust, regardless if it's public or private, you have to have some type of capacity. That's it. I'm starting to learn now the concept of contract. This for all my musicians out there, and so you're a part of this. As a musician, as a creator, when it comes down to contract, I just had my production company just had a visual sent back from Video or Vivo because of a copyright infringement, because the artist didn't read the contract when they bought the beat. So what we're talking about right now, not to put private information out there, but that's a private situation that you spoke on in the current event that I have as a current event in my company right now as the CEO. And it's based on people not reading the contract.
Yeah.
So now an undetermined amount of income could potentially be lost based on one person not reading the contract. And if there's one thing that a trustee should know from my perspective, that's they need to read every contract. If it's a 4-page contract, you need to be reading 4 pages.
Yeah. A lot of people don't read contracts.
You know, if you don't know what you're getting yourself into when you get into it, you're setting yourself up for failure. There's certain athletes in the game when you come talking about sports that don't have to watch film and things of that nature because of their athletic ability. Allen Iverson. Practice. But he had a natural ability, an ability to be able to play the game of basketball without having to practice. But in this private, public jurisdiction, because you only got 2 choices in this jurisdiction, and that's public or private. That's it. So you're either going to practice or not. And if you don't practice, in this side, the practice is reading. Because a lot of these contracts aren't that hard to read. Some of them just a lot of pages. That's it. Now, that's hard to read. But my people perish for lack of knowledge. So you sign a contract called a driver's license. You sign a contract called a bank account. And you all have it set up, well, not you all, most people have it set up with their socials. And you wonder why the government can tap your account. Because you owe so-called on the student loan. Your fault. You signed a contract.
They about to do that. That's what they about to do. They talking about that. They finna push that. I'm telling you. They finna push that. Did you hear about that legislation they're trying to introduce? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Like, when there's not supposed to be a debtor's prison based on the Constitution, that's neither here nor there. You can't call upon your Constitution to protect your rights when you have to. When you signed your name on the dotted line on the business contract, and that contract stipulates that the citizen, the U.S. citizen, is doing this thing. So, for my entrepreneurs out there, let's not be a business owner. Let's be an entrepreneur. Business owners don't make money. Entrepreneurs do. Because an entrepreneur is one that knows how to take the businesses that they've created and know how to make them work together. Keep the money, or so-called money, in-house. If I have a jewelry shop, then I'm going to own a diamond mine or have some type of ownership percentage of a diamond mine. Then I'm going to not just have a physical storefront, I'm also going to have an online storefront. And sell the same damn rocks that came out of the goddamn mine that I own a percentage of. Entrepreneurship. We have our people, that look to professional sports as the key. When I can show you an article right now, you can look it up online, and it talks about if you played professional sports before 1993, your pension for the NFL and the NBA ain't shit. And we talking about legends by the names of like Jim Brown. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of people, whether they professional athletes or, entertainers, once the money stops coming, they go broke and be bankrupt and heavily own money. But that depends on their agent. That depends on their agent. And we talking about, but that
when it comes down to it, it talks about that's trust. That's a trust relationship. Everything that we enter into is a trust agreement. Everything. You go to McDonald's, you get a Big Mac meal. You're trusting that these people are behind that counter giving you food that's not stale and stuff like that. You're trusting that these people are not sick. You're trusting, you put a whole lot of trust in a whole bunch of different situations that most people don't realize has to do with trust. That's why I was saying. The athlete is trusting his agent to know what he's talking about and not being in for profit solely for the agent. So is the music artist. So is the actor. So is the engineer at a particular oil facility. Same thing. It's relative. Trust. So I digress. I'm on the show. I'm just here. You gave it to people, you know what I'm saying, a lot of juice right there.
Oh, yeah, we're going to keep it going. So, we look forward to, this webinar. Got some people asking, how long do you think the webinar is going to be? An hour or so?
It might be an hour and a half. It might be the 3 hour, mark. And the only reason why I say that is because the webinar is not going to go through getting a passport without a social. That's not the point of the webinar. The point of the webinar is to show you how I did it for myself, but why I did it for myself and how I was able to do it because I was in official capacity. That's a major word that everybody needs to know on this webinar, official capacity. Because no matter if you, like we talked earlier, so regardless if you a BP, a blue pillar or a red pillar, there's a contract that exists. So it depends on what level that you're trying to actually execute the particular contract. You can't be a slave using the social talking about my Constitution protects rights when you waive them when you became a U.S. citizen. It's not possible. That's an oxymoron. That's like a holy war. There is no war that's holy. But it is depending on your perception. If you have a perception, if you know that the etymology of the word blessed means to consecrate with blood, then God bless America. So for me, instead of, we talked earlier when you talking about they spilling our blood to the streets. They yanked me out the car without the social with the passport and claimed that it was a forgery. So it's not about just getting it. It's about knowing how to stand on your circle and square when they approach you. They're agents.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Right.
Because they just pulled up in back of me. I wouldn't do. I was at a red light.
Mm-hmm.
And they pulled up in back of me, and the agent said that your vehicle is not registered.
I can say what y'all want. I don't play with them people out there, them highway robbers with guns and stuff. I don't play with them. I can say what y'all want, man. I don't play with them fools. I handle that with they superiors. I handle that later with your superior, and I ain't gonna say that to them. Like, I do not participate in public controversy. Straight up, look.
Exactly. Like I saw a video on of a young lady on YouTube that was screaming rape from an agent trying to get her out the car. Ma'am, you admitted to this man you have a driver's license. Ma'am, you admitted that you have a contract that you have to adhere to 60 million statutes, regardless of if you know they exist or not. Ma'am, you are not being raped. Ma'am, you signed a contract. Ma'am, you fucked yourself. It's in the read. So for me, I don't have.
You said what?
I don't have a.
That was a video of a police dude. He was pulling out of some woman out the car, and she was screaming.
Yeah, she was pulling out of way. Actually, it was a white chick too. It was a European chick pulling her out the car, trying to pull her out the car, and she was rape. And it's like, what? Are you serious? You just admitted to this man that you got a driver's license. That's a contract, and you have to perform. Well, she wasn't driving. She was in a passenger seat. Can a passenger get a ticket for a seatbelt not being on? Yes.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's right or not doesn't matter. What contract, what agreement you signed? Because your agreement says that you're supposed to do a specific thing and you're expected to perform. And if you do not, there's a fee for it. There's a fee for it. You can't get into this game and operate on the private side if you don't know what the rules of the game are. You got to have training. You got to have private education, if you will, because when they hit you up, you won't be able to hit up Soel. You won't be able to hit up whoever L, Bay. I don't care who they are. You ain't going to be able to hit them up and them be able to give you answers to some shit you're supposed to know yourself. It's your responsibility, your freedom, your education. That's how I feel about the shit. So this webinar is one that's going to open eyes to a paradigm. Because I do this shit every day. I live this. It's a way of life. Abraham Lincoln, he became one of my favorite presidents, not based on him freeing slaves, because he said, if you don't want to argue a point, don't bring it up. That's what I look at. And that's why if you put yourself in proper position within official capacity, they can't argue their point. Bring my words back unto me so that it may not return void unto you. Go in any spiritual context and read that. Any religious context is in there. I don't care if you read the Talmud, the Tanakh, the Quran, the Bible. It all says it to a degree, just like every state stipulates all of the constitutional restrictions or the constitutionally protected rights or the infringement upon the agency called the government or its instrumentality. We have a loophole. We choose not to use it because we go with what's familiar as opposed to what's real. Familiar will get you fucked. Real will get you paid. I ain't trying to sound like no pimp or preacher out here or nothing, but
admin at welcometothefoundation.com. It's ADMIN at welcometothefoundation.com. It's going to be a great webinar. I should definitely get down. Appreciate you, checking in on the show, man. And,
yes, sir.
I'll talk to you soon. I'll definitely talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm on the mute time over here, brother. You too.
All right. Peace. All right, we're going to go to real quick. And I'm kind of feeling a certain way because I forgot about this. Peace to brother Chris L. Admin at welcometothefoundation.com. He said it ain't really just about the passport, no social. So sounds like it's going to be very educational. I had the pleasure to be out of town. I was with some clients. I was in Philadelphia recently, and I ran into this sister who deals with insurance, and we would get to talking about insurance because y'all know me, life insurance is private bank, in the private. That's private banking, and it's definitely one of the models, the models of use in the private as far as wealth creation, wealth generation, and so on and so forth. So we're talking about insurance. I'm telling her, how they play, different policies play into, the private estate and so on and so forth. And the sister told me And I told her, I was like, look, sister, I'm definitely going to shout you out, Miss Underwood. She was telling me that a lot of insurance companies won't insure inmates and parolees or anyone on probation. But she was saying, like, what she does, she works with people, with companies that can get insurance, like life insurance on inmates, parolees, and people on probation, man. And I was like, are you serious? She was like, yeah, she was serious. She showed me, she gave me this pamphlet. I read the pamphlet. She gave me this flyer. I read the flyer. She gave me her card. I did some research on the company, and, it appeared to be true. So, and this is huge, but, and I asked her, so are you saying, individual universal life insurance? You talking about whole life insurance? What kind of policies are you talking about? She was like, well, whole life insurance, but mostly, individual, universal life insurance policies. And I'm talking about cash value and, all these points that, we look at death benefits, paid up additions riders with regards to if you have a terminal illness or you get disabled or something like that. And she said, yeah, she was very familiar. And I just think it's important that this be spoken on. And I ain't saying like it's just truth, man. Most of our people are in prisons. The ones who look like us, we locked up. A lot of us are locked up. And even if you go on private and so on and so forth, there are different avenues that you may not think that are open to you. But here's an avenue that's open. The sister, her name is Sister Underwood. She works with a company that can get life insurance on inmates, parolees, and people on probation. So when you go on private, you can put a life insurance policy on these people and use these policies, for your private banking in your estate. So it's just an option. It's another option. It's good to keep options open. You can email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. I can give you the sister's information. I'm going to try to give her a call, or at least call one of her family members, which was, my direct client when I was in Philly, and see if she has an email or something, or how she want me to direct people to her. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I know it's a big deal, and it may not seem significant to you, but definitely keep it in mind. And if it ever comes up, let somebody know. Especially, going private. There's different things, endowments, private placement accounts, life insurance policies. There's different things that work gorgeously and luxuriously with private estate, private trust, private contracts, family trust, so on and so forth. Like, just wonderful. You can't understand. It'll make you feel weird. Like, your first couple months of doing this stuff, feel like I'm going to jail. They're going to come get me. But, nah, man, it's like, when you step on this side, you get information that 99% of the people don't get. And it's not illegal. It's lawful. And, there's different ways of doing things, So, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. Shout out to Sister Underwood. Doing great things. Next caller, 615-3028. 615-3028. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from? 615. You're live. 615-3028. Hit your mute button. No. I heard something.
Dispel.
Peace. All right. Well, hey, it happens. 216-2369 area code 216-2369. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you?
I'm well. How are you?
Peace to the God.
Peace to the guys. How you doing?
I'm both out of Cleveland, man.
I want to make an appointment.
Cleveland.
Yeah, I appreciate your tithing. I want to make an appointment to bring you here to Cleveland to enlighten some of myself and my brothers and sisters. Because we definitely,
okay, yeah.
You know, so I can email you later on and we can do that, set that up.
Yeah, just send me an email and, we'll work out the logistics. That would be my pleasure. Come out there and help y'all.
And also I would love to inquire about the information that Sister Chief Wood has tried to share with us too. Like I said, we appreciate you tithing and enlightening us because we need this. We need it to liberate ourselves. That's all I got.
Yeah. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah. Definitely, yeah. I look forward to your email. And thank you for calling in. And it's not, I'm just a messenger, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
I know. You're like a modern day prophet. When I consider you took the whole foundation family. But it takes a village to, man, we need this. I'm just so grateful to you, brother. I thank the Most High every single day. I really do. I'm just so grateful to you. I just want to let you know and encourage and inspire you to do your thing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you calling in. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right.
Peace and blessings. All right. Appreciate that. That made hey, thanks, brother. Hey, this made my day. 718-8092. 718-8092. Peace. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, how you doing? What you said about the IRS, you got a lot of people, they think they know how to play checkers, and the IRS is playing chess with them. The IRS is playing chess with them. They're going to throw something, you're going to throw something at them, and they're going to throw something back at you. And the thing when it comes like that, a lot of people is getting comfortable. They're getting comfortable with these jobs. One of the callers you say on there, they trust. The other definition of trust is, you comfortable with somebody saying. You trust in and you comfortable what they're saying. Chris L, he said they trust. So when you trust somebody, you comfortable what they say. And I've been listening to you close to 4 years right now. I remember I started listening to you in 2015. Right? That's when, and see now you spit, you can spit now. What I mean by you can spit, you can flow. Right? Because when you first started talking, you didn't flow. You know what I'm saying? You were like, now you flow steadily, fluently. And but the thing about it is like, I listened to your record and you say like your father and your uncles, maybe they couldn't advance. And you look at something like, I think it was in 2013, they started doing the 1041. Am I correct?
19, say it again. In when?
I think it was 2013. Yeah.
Nah, they introduced the 1041 at the same time they introduced the 1040, and if I'm not mistaken, that was in 1913.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think what I said 2013 or something like that.
Yeah.
I was off by 1 year. Yeah.
100 years.
We haven't.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got a lot of people they seeking revenge. I say like once you apply what we know. And you hit on this line, or somebody say something, you get some books and you read up on it, then you caught up. They just have to apply it. Once they apply it, they caught up. But you got some people, they looking to seek revenge. I say like this, don't we seek revenge? Just do what you got to do, and do what you got to do. Get your little land, because a lot of people right now, they paying for a lot of stuff. Go back to the old way was as they said it's generic. Yusuf El probably said it before. Go to the generics. Grow your own stuff that you don't have to pay for. And see, I used to work with excavators. I don't know if you know about heavy equipment. I know how to do that. But when you talk about Glorious and stuff like that, oh yes, I like to put something up. I got a high policy, and I'll put it up for a 345 cat excavator, and I break me some land. I know you're about to get into the grants with the housing thing. I hope that took off very well. I know it will, because what you put in is what you're going to get out. You don't put nothing in, you ain't going to get anything out of it. And the thing about that, I'm not going to hold up the line, but from there, they got to put in a lot of stuff. I have so much to say. I haven't spoken in a while, but I'm gonna let you take the next caller. And live long and stay strong.
Absolutely, appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. You as well, man. Live long, stay strong. I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for always, adding to the foundation, family.
You're welcome, fam.
Peace,
family. Peace.
All right. You know what? With that being said, let that be the last caller. I appreciate y'all checking out the show. Definitely. I think it's big. Before we get out of here, I think it's big and important. If y'all interested in, possibly getting into some life insurance for some of your people that's locked up, email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. Trustee training, you want to, begin your private transition. Definitely email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. Let's talk about some trustee training. Let's get you doing your dance. As well as, we're going to do webinar passport, no social. If you're on the email list, I believe you should have got an email blast with regards to that. We're going to be recording that this Saturday. Yeah, this Saturday. Wow. A couple days. So you want to get on that, email us, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. Get in on that. We need to get to the point where we're competent to handle our own affairs, and a lot of times, maybe in a family that, there's some people that can handle their own affairs, or, maybe don't want to or something, and that's cool, but, we need to have more people in our families that are able to handle their own affairs, or at least contribute something specific to, the family estate, whether it be accounting or, business knowledge or acumen or some sort of trade, like, leather worker, or, just something, that could, contribute to, the production of, whatever medium of exchange is being used in that particular time. Right now it'd be Federal Reserve notes, gold, silver, whatever. But, overall, when it comes to proper administration, understanding how to do business, interface with the public, banks, attorneys, accountants, the Internal Revenue Service, things of that, like insurance companies, as well as brokerage houses, stocks, bonds. A trust can do anything that a person can do. So when I said private transition, that's exactly what I mean. The transition, it takes a certain amount of time and differentiates for everybody, for each individual family and, individual. But it's a proper transition, legal person. It takes understanding of the proper administration, and there's got to be, we got to have at least a couple people in our estate that understands this. And then those coming up who can be mentored in this. Because, what is it if we come into all this knowledge and, we can't pass it on? That's detrimental as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to just, benefit from my knowledge if I can't necessarily pass it on to those that I love. And that's important. In order to do that, we need to understand. We need to know what the difference is between the private trust and the public trust. We need to be able to bring up specific, case citations and different authorities. I'm sorry, I'm a trustee. I'm on a non-disclosure. I can take this to the board of trustees, and they can vote on it. And hey, I'm just an individual one, and I can't do this. I'm not trying to get removed as a trustee. Just understanding where and when to invoke certain protections or powers or contractual obligations or whatever is a lot to do with, the proper administration of your private estate. There's multiple trusts, but trust is trust, and it's administered in a specific way. You don't want your private estate to come and fall under the jurisdiction of the public. And in order to avoid that, you got to properly, understand what's good. I got some clients that, man, look, I'm not going to do it for you. I can't do it for you. I just recommend you study. I'm in one of those brothers who I want to be a resource. I'm not the resource. You need to have multiple members. I'm not the guy, just like the guy. Like, nah. I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even come close to saying that. But I do want to be a resource, to help the initial phases of transition from, public to private, and the specific points and understandings that need to be stood on in order to begin to make that transition. And it's, proper administration of trust, understanding the difference between public entities and private entities, where they draw their protections, benefits, liabilities, and, delegations of authority, venue, jurisdiction, and the like. And it takes study. But you can do it. I did it. I mean, whatever. Everyone is different. Everybody learns at a different pace. It's okay. But, not everybody listening is going to email us, and not everybody that emails is, going to roll with us. But, for those who are with it, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. It will be an honor for me to assist you in your private transition, for you to understand and, get those aha moments. Like, aha! Because those things are great. And, being able to properly administer your private trust without all the extra and all the potentials and all the extra, this might be and may be, with this and the straw man. Like, look, just get your private stuff. Before you start dealing with that public stuff, with the 1099, look, just get your private estate in order first. I think that's what you should be responsible for. I think that's the most noble and responsible thing to do. Before I get out here and start doing crazy stuff, let me handle my private affairs. Let me get some life insurance in case, whatever goes down. Let me get this, all my assets set in trust, so, I got to worry about going to court and all this other stuff, and, showing birth certificates, and, all this crap. Let me just put all this in trust, so, let them know their successors. If they want to mess it up, they can mess it up, but let me just handle this before I get to acting crazy. They go in the public, start talking about, straw man and house joint, whatever. But handle your private business first before you walk outside. Make sure your house is in order. And that's outside. With that being said, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. You got the, the webinar. You got the new Sister Underwood with the, insurance for our people that's locked up. You got the trustee training. Welcometothefoundation.com. At least sign up for the email list. I'm going to start getting, more on that. And, I'll catch y'all next week on another episode of The Foundation. Y'all have a great week. Enjoy yourself. And, give thanks. 10 things that you're thankful for. Let that be, one of your habits that you partake of at least 3 times a day from now on. Just, randomly say and think of or say out loud 10 things that you're thankful for. Get in the habit of that. And I'll check y'all next week. Love y'all. Be safe. Peace to the guys.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.